Hello and welcome to The Bomb Filter, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind, to determine the worst movie ever made. However, this episode is our first good movie episode, so we're going to take you on a little ride, a nice, relaxing, take it easy, the dude style comedy. We're very excited to explore with you. So, Rob, why are we doing this?
We're doing this because I've been having a real bad time because I don't watch movies normally. I don't like my schedule doesn't permit it really. So we do this pod and I'm watching nothing but bad movies. And on top of that, I thought it'd be funny to, in order to make the bad movies seem better to me, I started watching worse movies on whatever off time I have. So I've been watching all the Ernest Goes To movies and like lots of like stuff my daughter, I actually been paying attention to Frozen and like Peppa Pig and all that shit. So I'm really happy today because this will recalibrate our machines. I think Raw Deal busted all of our scientific data samplers, and we're trying to bring everything back up to snuff. I was on hold today with the Emotometer Overspill people. They work for Tamco, and they put in a ticket. They're going to get back to me in 3 days or so. You know, give me an answer I don't like. I'm going to have to escalate it to a supervisor. So by the time we get to next week's episode, which will be the start of season 2, if I'm not mistaken, we'll be able to accurately break down these bad movies once again. But right now we're glad to be here just to talk about something good for once.
Hell yeah, man. It's going to be a wild ride because this is something we don't do. And what they did for us, that Tamco company, is they sent us some equipment that we can use temporarily. So we'll talk about what we're using as we go. Want to get into it with some reviews?
Hey, let's do it.
Okay, cool. So David Starrett of the Christian Science Monitor, viewers with a taste for bizarre, even surreal humor will have a ball.
Accurate.
Yeah. I have 3 this time because they're short and they're nice and they're saying nice things and we enjoy nice things.
Yeah.
Jonathan Rosenbaum of the Chicago Reader says, "The Big Lebowski is packed with show-offy filmmaking and as a result is pretty entertaining." Yeah. It might be a little show-offy, sure, but it's so much fun that who cares?
It's a lot like older Simpsons where it's like realism mixed with surrealism. So like those weird like dark fantasies that happen while real shit's happening. So that's a good review. I like that.
And it's so well explained because the trippy stuff, you know, it could be an acid flashback. I think he even mentions that during the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got one more review, and I'm going to have you maybe guess who this is. Okay.
Sure.
Some may complain the Big Lebowski rushes in all directions and never ends up anywhere. That isn't the film's flaw, but its style. You want to guess who said that?
That's Roger Ebert, right?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I can't tell if he's saying that as a compliment or
I think insult. It is. Yeah, because he gave it a 75 out of 100. I think.
Okay, so that's fair.
Yeah, so one thumb up from Mr. Ebert.
Yeah.
Got any YouTube stuff?
Yeah, and just like what you were saying, like nothing really notable because it's not like the other movies we've been watching that are very polarizing. Hey, everybody has something good to say. So this is from I clicked one of the clips. It's like a 7-minute video. It's like the best of Big Lebowski. A lot of it is just quotes. You know, Donnie was a good bowler and a good man. Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Hands down, one of the best comedies ever made. The older I get, the more I can relate to Jeff Lebowski. And my favorite comment, and I'll end it one here. I love how everyone gets into his apartment without any care whatsoever.
Yeah, they do get in and out, no problem.
Yeah, he just walks in and there's just someone standing behind his shoulder. He's like, oh, shit.
God damn it. So you want to get into test number 1, the Keystone apparatus?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step up to witness my latest creation, the darn, tootin', rage-inducing, convoluted, highfalutin Keystone apparatus. You want to know if you're predator or prey? Then step this way and have your say. Wait, oh no, what's happening? Something is going terribly wrong! The Keystone apparatus.
This one was easy to sand down, refile, and smooth out, so we're good to use it.
Okay.
So this device gives us a proper evaluation of the ecosystem of movies that our subject exists in. Usually we are aware that the movie is not as good as the movies surrounding it, so we end up calling it prey. It is not as strong and fades away when you compare it to movies in its community. But in this case, we will see how the Big Lebowski fares in its little community. So starting with Hubie Halloween with Adam Sandler. Did you see that one?
I haven't even heard of it until this very moment.
Okay, I think it's a Netflix, one of the ones that he signed on that big contract
for. Okay.
I got a 53. I haven't seen it either. I have no interest.
Right.
It might be good for the pod because I bet you it's terrible.
Okay.
Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell. It was okay.
Yeah. How'd it do?
It got a 71. I was surprised by that.
I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen most of his movies, but I don't think I've seen that one.
It doesn't deserve a 71. That's
okay.
For Rotten Tomatoes. That's good.
Yeah.
Due Date with Robert Downey Jr., Zach Galifianakis.
Okay.
That got a 39, and I was surprised because I would flip those two. I thought Due Date was pretty funny.
Okay.
Fun with Dick and Jane, Jim Carrey, 29.
All right.
That's fair. That's a bad movie.
Yeah.
I went with Ferris Bueller's Day Off because, we want to be fair to the Lebowski. And that's with Matthew Broderick. He got an 80.
Okay.
Pineapple Express with Rogan got a 68.
Okay.
And finally, Yes Man with Deschanel and Carey got a 46. Also fair. So the average here was a 55.
Okay.
You want to guess what Lebowski got?
I want to say it had to have gotten like an 85.
It got an 83.
Okay.
Which is a strong score and the best among all of the scores that I took. So we have our first Predator, right?
Yeah.
Hey. Wow. Not surprisingly, though, because we said this is a good movie.
Yeah.
It's proving it already in test number 1. So let's move on to test number 2, and this is the elevator movie plot pitch, and the only device that we actually use for this one is a stopwatch. Yeah. So no need to fix that piece of equipment. We're going to get into it. An easy way to determine the strength of a movie is to summarize the plot as succinctly as possible. The gold standard plot pitch for the bomb filter is Spielberg's Jurassic Park. We're going to see about that. Short, clear, and easy to understand, Jurassic Park can accurately be summarized in as little as 10 seconds. When summarized, bad movies are convoluted, unclear, and lengthy. To help us determine how bad our subject is, we compare it to the plot pitch of our 10-second standard. Any seconds that it goes past that is our score. I say we use the Big Lebowski as our new standard. How do you feel about that?
I think that's totally fair.
Cool. And then going forward, we will use that measurement as our stick. So let's get into it. The elevator movie plot.
Hey, I gotta show you my script for this movie that I just came up with. It's have you ever seen Top Gun? It's like the guy from Top Gun, but he works at a mall. And
so it's the night of the
he's trying to hand out those little lotion packets as a sample. Hey, sir, I know you're in a hurry. Would you try that? Never mind. So he's got the lotion job. He hired a comedian to do the Corky Romano. He's got a kid, but you don't know he has a kid yet. You get him to work. But later in the movie, you find a guy from Die Hard. It's not his kid. He doesn't know.
Okay,
right,
so
let's do it.
3, 2, 1, pitch.
Jeffrey Lebowski, better known as the Dude, is unwillingly dragged into a kidnapping scheme that seems to get more confusing as the clock ticks on. Is he the fall guy, a half-assed PI, or just really high? Time.
14 seconds.
Cool. Sounds like a good standard. You want to shave off a second for my little stumble there?
Yeah, we'll call it 13 seconds. That's fair.
13-second standard. All right, cool.
All right.
What do you give that for a star rating?
I'll give that. I'm going to give it a 4.
Cool. That's just for our records. Okay. All right. So here's one of the pieces of equipment that we had to send out to get recalibrated, and that was our indefensible dialogue counter. So instead, they sent us basically it's a mirror image device, and that is the incredible dialogue counter. Mm-hmm. So what we're going to do is just number the great lines of dialogue here, and there are many. So we're going to get into this nice wordy movie with the test number 3, the incredible dialogue counter.
Something poignant and relevant to the story. Something equally smart and observant.
Hello, hello.
Number one, George Bush, right in the beginning, on the television while he's in the store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Utters, "This aggression will not stand," which really did happen. The reason I bring that one up is because Lebowski uses it like 3 times later in the movie, which is just awesome. It's just something he heard, didn't realize he had it in his back pocket and just kept whipping it out during the movies. So. And
that's the thing with this movie, with the dialogue. I figured you must have had a field day because there's no fat in this movie. Like every line counts.
Yeah.
In some way or another.
It was tough. And so I do have a bunch of lines, but I also had to decide what I was going to use for our next segment, which I'll get into when we get there. But it's more lines of dialogue. So, just everything is funny. Everything's great. Number 2, the dude, after being assaulted in his apartment, says, "Do I look married? The toilet seat's up, man." which is true. I mean, good point. Yeah. Most of us husbands are trained by now. Keep that down. At least I am. I don't know about you. But.
I see. What I do is I just pee with the seat down, and then I just wipe. If I dribble on the seat, I just wipe it with my foot.
Wipe it with the foot. Yeah. Right. I do the same thing, only I rip off a piece of toilet paper and just drop it to the ground so that while I'm peeing, I can try to grab it with my toes. It's a fun little game.
That's fun.
Number 3, obviously you're not a golfer.
Yeah.
The guy's holding a bowling ball, somehow doesn't know what that is. So the dude comes out with that one. Pretty funny. Yeah. And that's like bing, bang, boom. It's like been 6 minutes in the movie, and I've already got 3 lines of dialogue. All right. So number 4, Donnie says to Walter, it really tied the room together, talking about Lebowski's rug, right?
Yeah.
Walter says, "Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element." And then turns to dude and says, "Also, dude, Chinaman is not their preferred nomenclature. Asian American, please." Which gives you a feel for what he's like.
Yeah.
Like a total asshole in some respects and really woke for 1980s. Number 5, the Little Lebowski Urban Achievers. I thought I'd just throw that out there.
Yeah, that's great.
Number 6, Donnie. "What's a pederast, Walter?" Walter says, "Shut the fuck up, Donnie." It's just so mean to Donnie.
Yeah.
That's their dynamic, though. Dude to Jesus, he says, "Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man."
Yeah.
Which is, it sums him up perfectly because it's the laziest retort I may have ever heard, but that's what makes it so funny.
Yeah.
He just doesn't care, I guess. All right, number 8. This one's a little wordy. I'm going to give it my best.
All right.
Jesus says, "You pull any of that crazy shit with us, you flash your piece out on the lanes, I'll take it away from you and stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes click. You said it, man. Nobody fucks with the Jesus."
Yeah.
Torturo was just awesome in this movie.
Yeah, he was.
I would talk about him more if he didn't only have like 3 lines.
Apparently there is a Jesus or a Jesus movie. I didn't know that.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard it was in the works.
Yeah, I think it's out now, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, what? Really? I definitely have to check that out. All right, so number 9, dude is worried about Bunny. And Walter says, "Saturday, Donnie, is Shabbos, the Jewish day of rest. That means I don't work, I don't drive a car, I don't fucking ride in a car, I don't handle money, I don't turn on the oven, and I sure shit don't fucking roll."
Yeah.
Summer Shabbos.
And let me just step in here real quick. I'm not adding to a quote or anything because I know there's more coming up. But the thing that makes the dialogue in this movie so great is when it's always Walter and the dude, or like Walter and Donnie talking like one-on-one, and there's always somebody else interrupting or trying to get a word in edgewise, and then turning around, shutting it down, going back to each other without skipping a beat. And that is so accurate to real life when you're talking with your friends, you've knocked a couple back or whatever. And I think they nail that throughout the whole movie, the stammering and the interrupting and just, "Hey, Donnie, shut the fuck up." Now, the thing is, every time they nail it. Like there must be so many outtakes, or they must have just done it so naturally that there may not have many outtakes. But I just,
it does make you wonder how well Jeff Bridges and Steve Buscemi and John Goodman knew each other, because they did seem like they were just buddies.
Yeah, it seemed like they were just having a night out, and like it happened to be on film.
Good directing too, probably.
Yeah.
Number 10, Maud about the porn.
Okay.
She said, "This story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here." And then dude says, "He fixes the cable." Which I thought that maybe this story is ludicrous, but had me laughing a little bit more than he fixes the cable. Same idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Number 11, Walter says to dude in the diner, he says, "You want a tow? I can get you a tow."
Yeah. I can give it by 3 p.m. amateur or something.
Yeah, with nail polish. He's just so awesome. Number 12, I've got a few more here. Number 12, after they're leaving Larry's house, the kid, right?
Yeah.
Dude says, "No, Walter, it did not look like Larry was about to crack." like Walter had been saying that they almost got him to fess up.
I got in his head.
Yeah. All right. Number 13, Walter is talking about the nihilists, right?
Yeah.
He says, "I mean, say what you want about the tenets of National Socialism, dude. At least it's an ethos. And also, let's not forget, dude, that keeping wildlife, an amphibious rodent for, domestic, within city limits, that ain't legal either."
The marmot, right?
Yeah. Like a ferret or something. Dude was like, "Oh, nice marmot," before they put it in the tub with him.
Yeah.
Walter to the nihilists, after the nihilists were complaining that they're not getting the money or whatever.
Yeah.
Walter's like, "Fucking dipshit with a 9-toed woman," before he does that. God, this movie was awesome. Just so funny. All right. Finally, I'm going to give you Walter's dialogue about Donnie.
Yeah.
"He died as so many young men of his generation before his time. In your wisdom, Lord, you took him, as you took so many bright, flowering young men at Quezon, at Landak, at Hill 364. These young men gave their lives, and so did Donnie. Donnie, who loved bowling. And so, Theodore Donald Karabatsos, in accordance with what we think your dying wishes might well have been, we commit your final mortal remains to the bosom of the Pacific Ocean that you loved so well. Good night, sweet prince." And then he scattered the ashes all over the dude. And dude's like, "Everything's a fucking tragedy with you, man." Oh my God.
And like the stifled hug afterwards.
I'm sorry, dude. Like, he doesn't even have anything to say back, because he knows it's really, really fucked up that he just spread Donnie all over. The fact that like he's like shaking the can out and you can see all the ashes just pushing their way into the dude, and then he turns around and dude is like clearing Donnie out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I was just dying, and it shouldn't be funny, that shouldn't be a funny thing, but it was just so well done. Do you have anything else to mention? I do have some dialogue coming up in our next test. But
I'm not going to go dialogue, but just some visual dialogue I really like. Like I was saying,
sure.
It's a lot like early Simpsons with the surrealism and the realism. Especially like, when Goodman's like pulling the gun and he's like, "You're about to enter a world of pain." And it's like, it shows the camera just like pointing down the barrel of the gun.
Yeah, nice.
And then other parts, when Donnie died, you notice when he only knocked down 9 pins, and he was a lefty, and you see him kind of like do that with his hand. He was already having his heart attack before they got in the fight with him. I didn't catch that until this time I was watching it. And then so he was already dead in that universe. Like he was already So like that whole fight with the nihilists, that probably wasn't what pushed him over the edge. He was saying probably,
that wasn't the catalyst.
Yeah, no, he was feeling it while he was bowling.
Dude, I would say that's a crackpot spot of conspiracy theory bullshit, but I am inclined to agree with you. I'm looking forward to watching that back.
Yeah, so little things like that, like very, very subtle things. And one more visual dialogue. Philip Seymour Hoffman's character Just,
oh my God.
When he's like opening and closing the chamber doors and his head's down all solemn and he opens it back up. He just overacts in like the perfect way. He's like, oh my dude, you have no idea. And just, so
he's great.
Yeah.
He's another one. Like I wish that Brandt would show up in Jesus. I don't know whether he does or will.
Yeah.
But Brandt was just an amazing character, and Philip Seymour Hoffman just crushed it. It's sad that he's gone because he was so good.
Yeah,
he was good at everything.
Yeah, he really was.
All right. So you get to move on to test number 4?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Here's another piece of custom equipment we had to have shipped in special for this episode. This one is called the Good as Goodman device. So normally it's our odometer, which measures overacting. But in this case, Good as Goodman will measure how close you get to how good John Goodman's over-the-top character was here. Because I don't think he was necessarily overacting. His character had to be that crazy, and John Goodman just knocked it out of the fucking park.
Okay.
So we're going to see, we're going to see what Walter says to achieve such high marks, and then we're going to plug these numbers I already have into the Good as Goodman device to see how close they come to John Goodman's 10 out of 10.
Okay.
So let's get into it. Test number 4, the Good as Goodman device.
Good men,
all good men go to heaven.
Mm-hmm. There it is. All right. So starting with number 1, as we do with the odometer, we usually build up. So I'm going to start with something that actually pissed me off a little bit.
Okay.
Would you agree that Flea was over the top?
Yes, but in Flea's defense, have you ever seen? He's the voice actor for Donnie in the Wild Thornberries, and when he did the voice acting for that, he went into the studio like completely like naked, wearing a loincloth, bouncing off the walls, going.
All right.
I think that was one of his first acting roles, though. So the running with the scissors pissed me off a little bit, and like throughout most of the film, not much, but there were parts where I was just like, calm down, dude.
It wasn't so much his dialogue that bothered me. It was just the all the giggling.
Yeah.
Like I understood that he was pompous.
Yeah.
But it was over the top. And I thought not in a good way. So I gave the dialogue to the Good as Goodman device, and it spit back out 2 out of 10.
Okay.
So he was 1/5 as Goodman here.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm going to move it on to number 2, and that's Brandt, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Okay.
He says this picture was taken with Mrs. Reagan when I'm going to start that way. This picture was taken when Mrs. Reagan was the first lady of the nation. Yes, which was double yes, super douche. 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Number 3, and this one's a little wordy. So this is the Rich Lebowski to the dude.
Okay.
Hello, do you speak English, sir? Parlez usted inglés? I'll ask you again. Did I urinate on your rug? Every time a rug is mectorated upon in this fair city, I have to compensate the person? Are you employed, Mr. Lebowski? You don't go out looking for a job dressed like that, do you? On a weekday? Get a job, sir. The bums lose. I thought he did pretty well. It was another 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at being over the top.
Reminded me of Denslow from Basketball a lot.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like that comparison.
Same kind of candor, same kind of like beaten cadence and like just bigness.
Yeah, like that kind of John McCain-y, Dick Cheney sort of rich Southern Republican kind of guy.
Yep.
Number 4, this is the dude. He says, shit, Walter, he hung up, man. You fucked it up. We get nothing, and they kill her. Mm-hmm. Another 6 out of 10 from the dude.
Okay.
Number 5, this is Walter now.
Yeah.
Moving on to Walter. So John Goodman trying to be as good as John Goodman.
Yes.
He goes over to Rich Lebowski, and he goes, this guy walks, dude. I've never been so sure. I've never been so sure of anything in my life. Walk, baby. Achtung, baby. And he throws him. Yeah. Achtung means attention in German, by the way. I looked that up. Yeah, so that's something apparently Americans say sometimes. But that came out as 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Number 6. You remember the cab guy?
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, he's like, fuck you, man. If you don't like my fucking music, get your own fucking cab. And then, like, literally pulls him out of the cab. He doesn't say anything else, but he was really over the top. Also a 7 out of 10.
And I think the best part about that scene is what finally set him off to actual physical aggression was the dude going, and I fucking hate the Eagles, man.
Number 8. All right, we've got a little Jesus here.
All right.
This is like his other line of dialogue, so he makes it in like 2 for 2 here. Hey, what's this day of rest shit? What's this bullshit? I don't fucking care. It don't matter to Jesus. But you're not fooling me. You might fool these fucks in the league office, but you don't fool Jesus. It's Bush League psycho stuff. Laughable, man. Ah! Ah! I would have fucked you in the ass Saturday, but I'll fuck you in the ass next Wednesday instead. Woo! You got a day Wednesday, baby. That got a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
All right, Walter. Jumping out of the car, he says, "Here's a ringer." And he throws the bag of underwear out and then he says, "Okay, dude, you're the wheel. At 15 miles an hour, I'll roll out. I double back, grab one of them, and beat it out of him." The Uzi? You didn't think I was rolling out of here naked, did you?
Oh, God.
Man, he's so great.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more.
What's the score on that one? Was that a 10?
Oh, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10.
Okay. And the best part about that one, too, about like another visual dialogue, just very, very Simpsons-esque. He rolls out of the car, drops the Uzi, and just starts spraying bullets fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Mostly hitting the dude's car.
Yeah, pretty much. Walter, on a few occasions, fucks up the dude's car pretty bad. Speaking of which, number 9 is Walter again. As he's saying to Larry, "Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. This is what happens. This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass." As he's beating these, what is it, like a baseball bat?
It was a tire iron or a crowbar.
Yeah. Another 9 out of 10. It's hilarious that it's not Larry's car. So another guy comes out and takes, a baseball bat or the crowbar or whatever out of his hands and just beats dude's car up.
The
dude's
true
like,
irony,
"That's not my car, man."
the true irony is he fucked a stranger in the ass just then. That's
true. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. That's so true. All right, finally, this is Walter again.
Okay.
I'm going to try not to laugh during this one.
All right.
"Over the line. This is not non-smoky. There are rules. You mark that frame at 8, and you're in a world of pain. A world of pain. Has the whole world gone crazy? Am I the only one around here that gives a shit about the rules? Mark it 0. You think I'm fucking around here? Mark it 0.
Yeah. As he's cocking the gun and pointing it in his face.
Yeah. That's where he went full on Goodman, and that's the 10 out of 10 we've been comparing everything up. His character's fucking nuts, but it works so well.
It's amazing.
Do you want to mention any other overacting I might have missed, or are we good here?
Fuck a stranger in the ass. When he bites off one of the nihilist's ears and spits it into the fucking sky.
Yeah, dude. That was great. It punches him right in the face, and then he comes over and uses the bowling ball, I think, on the 99.
Right in the stomach. Yeah, and then the one more subtle one with they get the car, they park it, and they come back and like it's stolen and go. The first thing Walter says is like, "Well, you did park in a handicap spot."
That's true. That was funny. All right, we're gonna move on to test number 5. Cool.
Okay, let's do
it. There is no. We're carrying Schwarzenegger over for the full-on ass cheek since there are no contenders from this really good movie.
Yeah.
So test number 5 is the work still. So this is a still like a whiskey or like a gin still.
Yeah.
So what that does is it takes the concepts, ideas from the movie from back in '98, and it just lets it sit there and process. And then we go back to it now in 2021 to see if it's, these ideas and concepts that we put in there are now like a nice fine bourbon or a nice fine gin that we can sip right out of the still.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Test number 5, the work still.
Oh my God, you can't say that. It's 2021.
No. Actually, guys, it actually holds up.
Really?
Yeah, it really does.
Really? Totally.
Nice. All right. The fact that Walter comes to the defense of cultures, religions, and sexual orientations is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's actually perfect for 2021.
Yeah, and this takes place in like 91 too. I think 91 or 92 or something like that. And it speaks volumes to, like, I guess they're in LA, and I guess they're a little more progressive than, like, LA and New York are the more progressive areas of the country. So it is kind of accurate, I guess, how people would be of that mind. They're not in a flyover state. They're not in like Nebraska in the early 90s. They're in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Good point. So it worked then, it works now.
Yeah.
I thought that number 2, the works of Maud being strongly vaginal. So she said, the word itself makes some men uncomfortable. Vagina. Yeah, you know what? I guess if Maud was saying that to my face and like judging my reaction, it might make me a little uncomfortable. The word vagina itself doesn't make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But there's a loud feminist character here.
Yeah.
Who works really well in my opinion. How about you?
Yeah. I like she had a strong presence. She wasn't because every movie we've been watching has a damsel in distress, and even Bunny's not a damsel in distress. She's like pulling one over on everybody.
That's true.
And she's like the strong feminist going like, I'm running the whole show here. And very strongly opinionated, very strong-willed. So
and intelligent.
Yeah, very insistent on like the whole doctor thing and all that.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. Number 3, I thought all of the songs on the soundtrack still work really well, like timeless music.
Yeah.
I could say more, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, fair.
Number 5, I have a question for you.
Okay.
This still works for me, but is Sam Elliott God? Is the stranger, the
sarsaparilla guy?
Yeah. That's Sam Elliott, the actor. Is he God?
I think. All right, so here's the thing. I think that because I was thinking about the same thing too. Because he's the one narrating the whole movie. Right?
Yeah.
Like not throughout the whole movie, but like he has prominent narrative. Like first, second, and third act, he narrates it.
Yeah.
And I think he might just be a passerby or someone who hangs out at the bowling alley. And they're so wrapped up in their own shit. And Lebowski's always like 3 white Russians deep and like fucking high as shit. I think he was just told the whole story and he just wanted to share the story. So I don't think he's pulling any strings. I think he just witnessed more of it than the actual people involved in it witnessed. And he's just like amazed by their stupidity, I guess.
Okay, here's one piece of evidence I have that might suggest that he is God.
Okay.
So he doesn't hang out with the dude.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe he got the story explained to him and that's how he knows everything.
Yeah.
But having spent no time with the dude at all, he asks the dude if he has to use so many cuss words, which is like a purity question.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
I never thought of that.
Yeah, and he doesn't know him. So, like, he doesn't know how many curse words he uses, really, unless he has some kind of omniscience, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I was feeling that way, like, this is, like, our country, like, our Old West kind of, like, version of God, you know, where he can narrate, he knows everything that happens, and then he just engages in a dialogue with the dude because he finds the dude so interesting.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. Who knows?
Okay.
Let's leave it a mystery, right?
Yeah.
Lastly, I have, and I put this in here because I had to have it somewhere, and it still works really, really well for me.
Okay.
The dude is at Jackie Treehorn's.
Yeah.
Jackie is asking him to get involved in the scheme to get the money for Jackie, right? Jackie wants to procure the money for himself.
Yeah.
The dude is wondering if he is involved in the kidnapping scheme or what part he has to play here. So Jackie excuses himself to take a phone call.
Yes.
He goes over and the dude being suspicious of him is watching his every move. As Jackie Treehorn takes the phone call, he takes out a notepad and he starts jotting down something, and the dude is thinking this is probably important information. Maybe this is where the drop off for the kidnapping is happening. Who knows? Maybe there'll be an address on there. Maybe there'll be something I can use. You know? So Jackie rips the note off. He shoves it in his pocket. He comes over to the dude. He's like, "Will you excuse me? I have something important to do," or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And he walks off just for a couple minutes. We're on the assumption that dude doesn't have much time. So dude has the presence of mind, which is not often, but he has the presence of mind to run over and use the pencil on the notepad to do the sketch trick, right?
Yeah.
The old stenciling over the grave to see what it used to say or whatever.
Yeah.
So he stencils over the important note that Jackie Treehorn wrote down, and it's just a stick figure of a guy with a huge boner. And then, dude, the first time I saw that, I could not stop laughing. It still made me roll on the ground. I have a bad sense of humor, I think, because I don't laugh very hard anymore about anything, but that had me just fucking dying. I'm still laughing right now.
What could he have possibly been told on the phone?
I don't know, but he wasn't listening. He clearly wasn't listening to what it was. Oh my God. Okay. That's the work still. And I think, everything that I mentioned is a fine wine at this point. What do you think? You got anything else you want to throw in?
I like making fun of the LA cops when he's like, can you just get someone on this? He's like, I have 4 guys on the case. Well, we have a whole unit looking at your car. Just him with the milk mustache writing a check for 67 cents. At Ralph's is another good one, and I mean there's so many things that hold up. I could basically just start to finish, play the whole movie. It holds up. That's
seriously. And one more thing that I'll say as an honorable mention is I mentioned it before, but there's a lot of dialogue that's repeated in here, and sometimes that's a bad thing in movies, but in this case it's not, because you don't know what is just him being totally burned out or him using correctly in a sentence. He is sometimes using things because he has full knowledge of what he's saying, but other times you can tell that he is just repeating something he thought that sounded cool, because it came to mind. So I thought that aged really well, because if you listen, you can watch it back and look for those lines of dialogue that repeat themselves throughout the movie, and it kind of makes it like a fun little maybe drinking game or something.
Yeah, and he snaps in fully lucid, and then he'll be like, this happened, and that happened, and that happened. Therefore, this person's a patsy, and we need to, it's full lucidity, and that, and then he does. Okay, hey, why don't we do your ad read? Oh yeah, let me pull this up real quick. This is actually a really good sponsor. I'm glad to have them on board. Today's episode of The Bomb Filter is brought to you by Weed and Booze. That's right, weed and booze. Need your nights at the bowling alley to be a little more exciting? Weed and booze. Need to get through the next round of term papers and lab hours? Weed and booze. Do you suspect a millionaire's trophy wife of kidnapping herself so she could have a higher allowance by proxy through collecting ransom money? Weed and booze. Because if you're not getting wavy gravy every once in a while, life is a fucking horrifying waking nightmare from which one cannot wake up. Weed and booze. Try it.
Wow. Well said, sir. Well said. I won't make any comments as to my own consumption, but I do like at least one of those substances.
Same.
At least one.
Yeah.
Okay. Test number 6. This is the new to meter. So what this is an exact flip. So we got another piece of machinery here that works just like our accounting for entropy. It just works in reverse. So instead of talking about things that are tropey in a movie, we're going to talk about things that we maybe have never seen in a movie before. Original ideas, because that's what makes a movie good. All right. So let's get into it. Test number 6, the new to meter.
You can't go wrong when your story is strong. So don't be a dope.
Knock off them tropes.
That was incredible. that was actually one of my favorite bumpers.
That's Chicory Oleo off one of their, I don't know. It's one of his quintets, I think. But it's good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Number one, the super duper lazy hero.
Yeah, they tried it with Pineapple Express. I mean, like that was in the same wheelhouse as far as like the Keystone. But
yeah.
This one was so much more reserved and tasteful. So I think this is like the archetype for that kind of hero.
Exactly. Yeah, because this came way before, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely the archetype. Number two, the Jesus is just a totally new wacky character for me. I've just never seen somebody so passionate about bowling. Plus, he's a pederast.
Yeah.
So
8-year-olds.
He's multi-dimensional for sure.
Yeah.
Number three, Walter, the woke but damaged veteran.
Yes.
Number four, was this the first like mainstream use of a group of nihilists?
Mainstream, probably, yeah. But there's probably so many indie films that are like, nihilist breakfast, and it's just like people just laying on the floor for an hour and a half.
Maybe they have a stack of Lincolnberry. What was it?
Lindenberry pancakes.
Yeah. All right, number five. Had to throw this in there. You know what was new about this movie?
What's that?
The Lebowski, the dude eye gif that is still used today. You know, the one where he like sees Larry's Homer and he like readjusts his eyes.
Yeah,
because he's so like stoned. He's just like. And that GIF is just like all over the place. So well done. That's the first GIF ever.
Yeah, fair.
Definitely the first one ever made.
Yeah.
Number six. The strong woman yoga for conception doesn't want a father in the picture.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any interest in the dude being a dad, and she knows that he won't want to be. Yeah. So she used him for his semen, which I had not seen in a movie before that. Could exist. And I want you to feel free, listeners, to email us or, just blast us on social media. Whatever you want to do, let us know if these are things that have happened before. I'd like to hear some examples. I think this stuff is interesting. So let me know, let Rob know if we're dead wrong about this, and then we will tell you why you're wrong.
Bombfilterpod@gmail.com.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
And number 7, this is it from me. The spread ashes all over your friend being funny. Like, one, I haven't seen it, but 2, they made it hilarious. So how the hell?
Yeah.
What do you think? You got anything you want to say was like something you hadn't seen before? Because
at least for mainstream movies, just like the really artistic segues between action scenes, like the inside of the bowling ball rolling down the lane.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's been done like especially in Hollywood, like in indie films, like throughout the decades. But as like growing up, because we grew up when this came out, it's like artsy, but it wasn't artsy. It was there was storytelling in the transitions, but you didn't necessarily need them. The visuals were like really kind of like clunky and spectacular, but didn't seem over the top. It was just really tight. It was really tight. So
I agree.
So I don't know how to like articulate it, but that was something that was new to me at the time I saw it, like in '98 when I was like a kid.
Well, thank you for mentioning those like cutscenes where they use like a lot of practical and CGI effects, because it's going to transition us perfectly into test number 7, which is just another flip, and this one is good CGI. So normally we have a scale that we use. You might be familiar with it. If not, doesn't matter, because we're not using it this time. Yeah. So this time I'm just going to tell you whether I thought it was awesome, amazing, not so good, whatever. Rob, and you're going to let me know if you agree.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So let's get into it. Test number 7, good CGI.
Good CGI to the dead guy. I wanted to resolve it a little brighter than last time because I fucked it up.
Well, thank you so much. Another live acoustic performance. And you just really gave me the shivers, buddy.
I'm glad.
You do. I mean, just looking at you, but that's great. Okay, good CGI. Number one, the opening credits and song, just the whole kit and caboodle, awesome.
Yeah.
Number two, okay, my maybe one and only. I'll see as we get further into it, but I didn't love the dude flying over LA.
Nah, I had like a really bad like Peter Pan-y type of effect to it.
Yeah. It was kind of obvious that he was on strings. Anytime you have to be like totally parallel with the ground. Yeah. That's not how you would fly.
I would argue on strings in front of a green screen.
Yeah, green screen.
Yeah.
So was this part he got punched first before that? Is that right?
That's when he got punched in the jaw, right? I think that's when he got punched in the jaw.
I think so. Yeah. So this maybe was just him getting like knocked for a loop and not an acid flashback.
Yeah.
Because I think later on it is definitely an acid flashback. For sure. But number three, I wrote the toe.
Yeah.
The toe and like the gauze looked like a toe.
Yeah.
To me. Like the way they had wrapped it up and had like some of it like bloody bandage where it kind of stuck to it.
And it was like the dark blood.
Yeah, right. Dark blood. And and like it was kind of crystallized and like kind of ripped off of the gauze and stuff. It looked like a fucking toe to me.
Yeah.
So I wrote amazing.
Amazing.
You mentioned before, but the Uzi that went flying and like firing the circle, I wrote that down for CGI because it looked perfect. It looked like an Uzi shooting in a circle to me.
Yeah.
It's like spinning around and looked dangerous.
Yeah.
So I wrote perfect.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Absolutely. Number five, the gutter ball sequence. This is what I'm saying. It's an acid flashback.
Yeah.
My Condition. That song's awesome. Gets stuck in my head sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just fun to sing. I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in. Yeah. I end up singing that at work all the time. That also had the nihilist pee-pee chopping scene, the big scissors and stuff. I gave it a score of really good.
That was after his drink was dosed, I think, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay, so could have been that. Maybe it wasn't an acid.
Maybe a little bit of both. Who knows?
Couple here concerning cars. Number 6, the car fire.
Yeah.
And number 7, the car crash. Like couple of them. Yeah. Well, one in particular I was thinking of is when he drops a roach into his lap. He's like,
and he spills his drink on himself.
Yeah. And then the car like careens into a big garbage can, like a small dumpster or something. But he lost the tail at that point. He lost that other PI guy.
Yeah.
So it worked out. And then finally, for me, the scene, Jackie Treehorn's place was just fucking cool. I wrote awesome.
Yeah.
Not to be a crass, like, obviously shallow guy here, but like when you saw the naked form of a woman like coming up and down the screen from like just a pitch black background.
Oh, tops.
With her, nice
titties. I'll say it, titties.
Her nice titties.
Yeah.
Like dropping down and then up into the frame. Yeah. It was that's one of those artistic flares that was definitely show offy.
Yeah.
But it made you wonder if it was like we're getting into another like trip here.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It made a lot of sense. And then you saw that like really creepy guy who was like super happy about throwing her up and catching her again.
Like the revelry in his face.
Yeah. That's what I've got for good CGI. Do you want to mention anything else?
Just the dude's car just being ignited on fire. I mean, that was just a car on fire. It just was like literally a car on fire. Yeah. And just the camera work, just I guess the direction. Cause it's the Coen brothers, right? It's their first like breakthrough.
Yeah,
right?
So it's listed as Joel Coen as the director. Ethan is uncredited, but he's on there.
Okay.
Basically. So yes, it's the Coen brothers.
So like I keep saying this, but like if you watch like seasons 2 through 5 of The Simpsons, the camera work, I say camera in quotes because it's animated series, is like identical. And that's why I love this movie so much. It's very Simpsons-esque. I don't think it was intentional. I just think The Simpsons also had really good direction at that point on their writing staff. Just namely like just rolling out of the car and the Uzi spraying, like that's something that like Krusty the Clown would do. And and it's just and like just you drop the thing on your lap, you light it on fire, you pour your drink, you crash immediately. Like that, that like sequence of events and like the facial expressions reacting to it just remind me of like those Golden Simpsons episodes like back in the day. So I will always pump that up.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have been able to draw that comparison as I had not gotten into The Simpsons as a kid.
Yeah.
That's good because I know that Simpsons has a wide audience, so you're definitely speaking to a lot of people.
Okay.
I didn't know what to call our logical consistencies. Maybe I'll just call it that.
Yeah.
I wrote some extra musings.
Okay.
I'm just going to tell you some other stuff I thought while I was watching them. Didn't fit into one of our tests. Did we need Marty the landlord at all? Because he would have been my deep cuts.
I'm going to say we need his mention at least once because clearly the dude makes no money.
Right.
Clearly he has some because he's going bowling. And bowling, I mean, like, it's not cheap, but like, it's also not like, it's not like a rich man sport either. It's not golf. But
no, but if you play it like 3 times a day, like those guys are always there.
They're always at the bowling alley. Yeah.
That's going to add up.
I think he just needed that quick aside of, hey man, I'll be at your recital. Just
something else.
Because his landlord's like a good-natured, like a little like dim-witted guy. And that kind of explains to the audience how he's living at like in like a somewhat decent-sized place in LA with no money. So
yeah, right.
I guess like, he's not needed. They could have done it like in passing somehow otherwise, but I think that's why they had him in there.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because his like recital and stuff, I was thinking like, dude, like I would just cut this out.
Yeah,
it's not needed. But I guess Donnie and Walter are there talking about like what they're going to do next. So that maybe it was important. I don't know. Next thing I want to say is poor Tara Reid. She was gorgeous.
Mm.
She was just gorgeous and, doing really well for herself. And then I think she just got heavily involved in drugs and surgery and just like fell off the face of the earth.
Wait, what?
Tara Reid?
Yeah.
Bunny? Did I cut out?
Yeah. No, I got you. I was thinking, but she didn't fall out the face of the earth part threw me off. Sorry. I was just like,
just that she was at the height of her popularity at this point. Like she really wasn't an actress. She was like more of an MTV, celebrity. But
you were talking about real life, not the movie. That's why I got.
Yeah,
I was like,
sorry. Maybe I should have prefaced by saying that. Yeah. I just thought, this is like where she is at her like zenith.
Yeah.
In terms of popularity, she's in a major movie and she's absolutely drop dead gorgeous in my opinion. And then she ruined her popularity and her looks by getting heavy into surgery and drugs and just dropping off the face of the planet. So
that is a shame.
It is. I just wanted to make mention. It's like that guy Chief Swenson that played Bane. In Batman and Robin. Like same deal. Only instead of like losing his popularity, he like literally died.
Yeah.
So, Julianne Moore does the Poison Ivy sophisticated accent correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is how you do it. This is like a masterclass. And it's not that I think that Uma Thurman's not good. I just think that she shouldn't have tried that.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't her decision, but this is how you do it. Just saying.
Yeah.
The bums left the tape deck in the Credence. I just thought it was funny that that the cop mentions that,
There's that old dad joke where it's like, all my CDs got stolen from my car, but they only took the ones that were good. So I feel insulted. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because they're saying whatever they didn't steal was crap.
Yeah.
Right. I thought it was funny that as they're leaving, Donnie stays in the car at Larry's kid's house. As they're leaving, they don't mention it, but they're all eating In-N-Out burgers. So one of the big laughs for me, and it just wasn't something I could fit in anywhere else, but I just love the fact that the dude spent a ton of time nailing a board down to the floor so that he could put a chair up to his door. and then the Jackie Treehorn's goons come in and they just open the door because it opens the opposite way.
Yeah.
So a lot of that time is just totally wasted.
And then he trips over it later.
Shrugs, just because he's the dude, he's not like that upset because he just shrugged stuff off, but he was obviously super disappointed in himself. It must have been an hour of nailing, And
then the next time he enters his apartment, he trips over it because he forgot. He did
it. I thought I couldn't go without mentioning the chief of police. You had mentioned the police before, but not the Malibu ones, I don't think. And I just wanted to mention that when he threw the mug and hit the dude in the head, that made me laugh too. He's like, you hear what I'm saying? He was like, I wasn't listening. And then he just chugs the mug at him. So last thing I'm going to say in musings category here.
Right.
Did you like the sort of Napoleon Dynamite style no real ending?
No, I'm a fan of that because they did that with a show I haven't seen but I know about, Sopranos, and ended mid-sentence. My wife is Stacey's watching Orange is the New Black, and I guess that kind of ends it's just time still goes on after what the series is going to capture. Yep. So I like that because it's just they're going to go back to doing the same shit they've done, and in this instance it worked really well. In other movies it doesn't work so well, but I think in Big Lebowski, just fuck it, dude, let's go bowling. They're going to go back to league night. Yeah. They're going to find a surrogate for Donnie, and they're just going to go about their shit.
Yeah, I actually really like it because it's especially I think with a story that doesn't really have a defined direction. Like Ebert said, it runs in different directions, doesn't really end up anywhere.
Yeah.
How do you can't tie up all the loose ends that way,
No.
And you have to just leave it off like it's any other day, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do the bad credit names.
Okay.
And then we've got some stuff to go over.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun, season ender recap. And so let's do the bad credit names, starting with number 1. I'm number 1 through 11, and we're going to ramp up. So they're not going to be very funny. Gilly Rubin.
Okay.
Dennis Jumped.
Yeah.
Clement Back.
Ugh, that just sounds unpleasant.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Well, so this one is kind of a double entendre, but Patty Cook.
Okay.
So she's a burger.
Yeah.
Sticking on the foods, Cookie Lopez.
Cookie Lopez. Okay.
And what food might do to you, Brian Biles.
Okay.
Biles is rough.
Yeah, it's really rough.
Here's a couple names I've never heard. Spring Aspers.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah. Happy Waters.
Okay.
3 more.
All right.
Senor Greaser.
Why was I'm just imagining Christopher McDonald from Grease 2.
Dude, we gotta do that one again.
Yeah, so we had a pilot episode, guys, and one of them was Grease 2.
And it was so bad and so fun.
I'll watch it again.
Cool. Yeah, maybe next season.
Okay.
Number 10, Big Dave Dilberto.
That's the best one so far.
All right. Number 11, you know how Bunny is listening to Viva Las Vegas in the car?
Yeah.
Do you know who the recording artist is?
Oh, I should, and I'm ashamed that I don't.
His name, what he goes by anyway, is Big Johnson.
I did not know that then. Never mind.
That's bragging, and I hate it, and it sounds stupid, and I hate it. All right, Rob, I wanted to do this just for fun.
Okay.
What was your personal favorite bad movie out of all the 8 that we did? What did you enjoy watching the most?
I'm gonna say Batman and Robin, because there's still there's nostalgia in that for me still, and I just want it to be good so bad, and it's not.
Okay.
So I guess I'll go with that. What would yours be?
I actually think, and this is a weird pull, but I actually think it was Waterworld.
Okay.
I feel like it was a good movie put through like a shit filter.
Yeah.
Where everything was just off enough to make it one of the worst movies ever.
If they pulled off the Mad Max type of thing, it would have been better.
Yeah, right. And some of that was just fun for me to watch. Just probably the $200 million they spent on it. Maybe I'm just shallow. No pun intended. What about your least favorite? What was the most agonizing of these movies to watch for you?
Dude, oh God. Not Wild Wild West, because I laughed my ass off at that.
Yeah.
I'm actually pulling up our Instagram page right now because I blacked some of these out. Suicide Squad, I would say.
Yeah, that's mine too. All right, I just to sum up the Big Lebowski, since we're not comparing it to anything else. Although I can come back and reference these scores if we do other good movies in the future.
Yes.
And then maybe eventually somewhere down the line we can determine the best movie ever made as well. But that is not the point of the pod, right?
Absolutely not.
But here's the question about the Big Lebowski. Who did you think did the best in this movie? Who did you come away from the movie thinking like that person fucking killed it?
It's tough because it's like an ensemble, and it's like the parts don't work without each other.
Agreed.
But I also feel like I came in for the dude, but left with Walter.
I agree. That's what I would have said.
Yeah.
I feel like they're both fucking iconic. You know, the dude is iconic. Yeah. He's just not as polarizing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like Walter just sticks in my mind. I think about him sometimes. He's just so crazy. I love him so much. You could probably tell because the dialogue was at least very Walter heavy. Yeah,
and you have moments in your real life. One of our other pilot episodes. Well, no, it wasn't that. We watched Falling Down before we came up with the concept for the show.
Yeah, so it wasn't.
Yeah, and we were talking about like Michael Douglas, how like when you first watch him when you're younger, he's like kind of badass, but then he's like, oh, he's kind of a Karen. He's just like a whiny little bitch. But think about in real life when you have moments where you're just like you're hanging on by a thread and like you're like one little like poke away from just losing your shit. And I would channel Walter, I think. I wouldn't channel Michael Douglas. I wouldn't channel Defense. I would channel Walter.
Yeah, because Walter's kind of right.
He's right, but he fails so badly in his execution that it's just awful. But like he does look out for those close to him, and he's like even taking care of his ex's Pomeranian. Like he has a good heart.
Yeah,
you can tell he's got a good heart, but he's just mixed up.
Right. Okay. So I'm coming away from the movie with Walter as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the season's rankings.
Okay.
From best to worst. So number 1 is the best movie out of the ones we've done.
Okay.
Over the Top.
All right.
By the Numbers was the best movie we watched.
Yeah.
Number 2, The Wicker Man.
All right.
Number 3, Armageddon.
Okay.
Number 4, Waterworld.
Okay.
5, Suicide Squad.
All right.
6, Wild Wild West.
All right.
7, Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And 8, your favorite, Batman and Robin 97.
Yeah.
So that's where things stand. That's season 1 wrapped up. We're going to start with season 2. And Rob, you want to tell us what we're watching for episode 1, season 2?
Georgia, the jungle, strong as he can be. Watch out for the tree.
We thought it appropriate since Brenda Fraser's been in the news lately.
Yeah.
He is having a Brendan Fraser renaissance of sorts, where his career is picking back up. In celebration, we are doing George of the Jungle, maybe his worst movie, and that's saying something.
Yes. I've seen Monkey Bone, too, and I'm just throwing that out there.
I have not seen Monkey Bone. Is that the one that's like half cartoon?
Yes, I think so. Okay. It was a long time ago, but I remember watching it going like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because George of the Jungle was actually one of my go-to movies when I was like 11.
It was fun. So, it was a fun movie, dude.
Yeah, so it's going to be really fun to make fun of because it's not going to be funny.
No. That's
all right, man. That's what I've got for the Big Lebowski. Thank you to the listeners and to the Coen brothers for making that one because it was fucking great.
Yes.
So you want to send us out with where they can reach us and all that?
Yes, bombfilterpod@gmail.com. You can look us up on any podcast streaming app. We're on Anchor FM, Pocket Cast, Google Play. I submitted everything to iTunes, just waiting to hear back from them. We're on Spotify. We'll be on YouTube soon, and we're going to keep growing as the seasons progress. Once again, we're doing this in in living rooms and basements. Our whole rig's held together with bubble gum and paper clips. So we're slowly learning how to podcast and how to get this thing out there. So once again, thank you for listening. This has been the Bomb Filter. See you next week.
Peace.